Good. Oh, good morning again. Good morning again. Sorry about that, y'all. So listen, my voice is hoarse. I'm supposed to have a guest this morning, and I don't know what happened. We talked on Tuesday. No, we talked on, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. So he was confirmed. But here's the thing: he was going to talk about how to write your book in 12 hours. Now, I personally don't know how to write a book in 12 hours. I have written 7 books at this point, and they have all taken me more than 12 hours. So I'm not sure how to do that, but I was excited to find out how to do it. I don't know what happened to him, but let's talk about what it takes to actually write a book. I'm working on my 8th book right now, and I've done the outline. So how I normally go about writing my books is I write an outline. Now let me just say this: I'm not a fiction writer. I'm a nonfiction writer. All of my books are how to write a book, how to start a business, how to start a podcast, how to start a video channel. All my books are about, all of my books are, somebody say, Veronica say, I hate writing. Here's the thing, right, Veronique? I'm not a writer. I don't call myself a writer, but I have written books. And the way I like to write is I will start an outline first. So I start an outline of what I want the book to be about. And right now I'm writing a book, and it's about how to brand yourself in your local market, because a lot of times we think globally. So the first thing we want to do is get really big really quick, but you can start doing things right in your own backyard to create that brand. So I'm writing a book about that. And the reason I'm writing that book is because Good Morning Gwinnett is a hyper local podcast. And so I talk mostly about what's going on in and around Gwinnett County. And I was like, okay, but how can I help other people who are thinking about how can I leverage my local area for my business? And so that's the book I'm working on right now. It'll be finished by probably by August. So how I write out an outline of what I want to talk about, and what I want to talk about are things that I have done to do the thing that I'm teaching people how to do. So for me, launching Good Morning Gwinnett, and right now I'm almost at 800 episodes. I may be over 800 at this point. 800 episodes of this show, and it's all locally, right? But it's globally syndicated. So even though I talk about Gwinnett County, which is in Georgia, it's in the metro Atlanta area, even though I talk about that, it's a globally syndicated show because I'm on so many platforms. I'm on all of the podcasting platforms, but now you're watching this show right here. It's been streamed live on LinkedIn. It's been streamed live on Facebook. It's been streamed live on um, Roku. So I'm global. So when you think about writing your book, think about what you want to teach people, right? Create an outline first and then fill in the blanks. Now, I don't know what Robert technique was for writing a book in 12 hours. I have no idea. And I was really interested to see what the process was like. But I could tell you normally it takes me about 90 days. And that's because I have so many other things going on. It takes me roughly about 90 days to write my books. And that's everything. That's the cover, that's everything. That's the editing. That's the book going live on Amazon. That's the process I use. It takes about 90 days. Now, I know for some people you can do it on a weekend. It depends on the book. Now, I have written ebooks. I've written ebooks in like a couple of days because they're ebooks and they're short. It's pretty much based around one thing. It's not like 12 parts of what I'm trying to talk about. Like my new book that's coming out, it's about 7 steps. So of course I have to fill in all the 7 steps, but even under the 7 steps, there are steps. So the book has 7 steps, but under each one of them steps, I might have 2 or 3 different steps. So that's not a short book. An ebook you can definitely do in a matter of a couple of days because it's pretty much like writing a short. Think about if you had to write a research paper. Think about an ebook that way. Um, if you had a topic that you're very passionate about, let's say NFT. So most of you know that I launched an NFT earlier this year, right? If I wanted to go in there and write an ebook about how to launch an NFT, I could do that in like a day, like literally, because I know all the steps that it has taken me to launch that, and I can turn that into an ebook, which I might do that, because it wasn't a whole lot of steps. It was a lot of me. It was a lot of learning on the curve and trying to figure things out. But once I figured it out, it was pretty simple. She says, do you edit and lay out yourself? I do not edit myself. I do all my layout. So when I start to write my book, only thing I have to do once I get finished writing the book is send it to the editor and they edit it. I do the layout. I do the covers. Because I can. It's so many great tools out there that will allow you to do all these things. So I do all that first. When it goes to my editor, the book is pretty much completely laid out with the cover and everything. All the editor has to do is edit it and give it back to me. And so I have a good friend. She edits all of my books. She has been my friend forever since I was in 11th grade, and she was a walking dictionary back then. So we would be playing around, and she was always correcting our diction. Didn't help me that much, but she still was correcting our diction. So she edits my books, and she edit books for clients that I help write books. So I do not edit. I'm not an editor. I'm barely a writer. I'm barely a writer, but I have information to share, so I don't mind putting it in a book because people learn different ways. Some people will listen to the show when I do Talk Business Tuesday. They'll find out things that way. Some people will go to my blogs. They'll find out things that way. And some people will read my books. They'll find out things that way because everybody learns differently. So I try to I try to give it to them the way they need it because they may need all these different platforms. So that's pretty much what I do. But I do an outline, and I write out everything in my outline. I normally do my books in 6x9. I used to do 5x8, but then I stopped doing that. I do 6x9 because that's like the so 5x8 is the traditional size for a book, right? 5x8, but I like 6x9. It's a little bit bigger. It feels like the people have a little bit more in their hands, so it's not so small. 5x8 book is pretty tiny, but 6x9 is pretty nice size. So I don't think I've ever written a book over 175 pages. One, people don't want to read that long. Two, I don't have that much to say. I'm just being honest. I normally don't have that much to say to write a 200-page book or 300-page book. I just don't have that much to say. And I could tell you that I've never read a 300-page book because I don't have that much time. So now audio book, on the other hand, I will read. And I have had one of my books transcribed into Spanish, which was pretty cool. So I have my podcasting book, which is called Pod Chicks, was transcribed into Spanish. So that book was transcribed into Spanish. Um, so it's on the Spanish market as well. So that's pretty cool too. So you can do a lot with this. I think you just have to not be afraid and just set aside the time. And the reason it takes me about 3 months is because my schedule is so full most of the time. So when I get a chance to write is when I write. And so my books are normally around 125 pages. I think the one I've written that was the longest was like 150 pages. This book right here would probably be around the 150 page mark because it is pretty, and it's because it's compact. It's not a lot of, that's the other thing. I don't put a lot of fluff in my books. It's right to the, I'm not a fluffy person. Like, I'm not that person. I get right to the point. I'm real direct like that. So I'm not gonna waste your time with a whole bunch of fluff. I will tell you my story at the beginning of why I'm writing this book, but for the most part, you're gonna get actionable items right off the gate. Because I'm not a fluffy kind of person. I feel like people want to read the book so they can get to the results that they're looking for. So I try to make sure that when I write my books, it's not a lot of fluff. It's really like, okay, this is what I've done. This is what you can do. And so you can do it that way. So that's pretty much how I write. I wish Robert was here because I really wanted to find out more about how to do that in 12 hours because I got this book that I'm trying to finish off, and to get it done in 12 hours would have been a joy. Yeah, so that's where we are. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm here for probably another 10 minutes. I thought maybe he would jump on, but he didn't. Something must have happened. But you never know. You never know. So the other thing about writing a book, I was working with an author. I got to share this story with y'all. I worked with him probably about 4 years ago. He wrote a book. I sent it to my editor. She edited the book. She sent it back. We put the book on Amazon. This is what happened. We put his book on Amazon and he lost all his login information. So he left the book there. He did a tour selling the books. He left the book on Amazon and he lost all of the login information to the book. So he needs to go in, he needs to order books from Amazon. Now, if you order your books from Amazon on the front side, you're going to pay like a regular customer. If you order from the back side on the inside, you pay the author's rate. He can't get into the account. And for the strangest reason, for some reason, he can't even provide them with information to let him into his account. So he has money sitting in an account in Amazon that he cannot access because he does not know the login or the email that he used. And so I will say to you, when you put your book out there, make sure to keep up with your login information. I have the exact same login for Amazon that I've had since I've had Amazon, and that's been a long time. The exact same. The email is the same. I rarely use that email for anything except for Amazon. So if you're going to put your book on Amazon, make sure to keep the login information because he's having a really tough time trying to get into his account. And he's been trying to access that account since last summer. Like we met like towards the end of last summer, and he still has not gotten into that account. And I've tried to get on the phone with them to see exactly what it is they need, and we can't even get anybody on the phone. So if you are going to write this book and put it on Amazon, be very careful about what you do with your login information. He probably has, because people were buying his book like crazy. He went on tour out in LA to do a book signing because someone brought him out there. And if people bought the book from that book signing online at Amazon, he does not have access to that account. So I would say to make sure that if you're going to put your book and sell your book on Amazon, which most people do, that you keep your login information. Yeah. So I have a book on Amazon. It's called The A to Z of Self-Publishing. If you want to learn how to write a book, go get the book off Amazon. It's there. I've been writing books since 1998. That was the first time I co-authored a book with some friends. So I've been doing this for a long time. We decided we wrote the first book I ever wrote was called The Cookbook to Romance. I co-authored that book with two friends. We used to do a mastermind group every Sunday. And every Sunday at 2:30, we would meet at my office and we would get together with six of us. We would mastermind. Because remember, everybody was reading Think and Grow Rich back then. Back then, everybody was trying to do a mastermind group because mastermind groups help you grow your business. That's just a proven fact. And so we would get together and mastermind every Sunday at 2:30. And one particular Sunday, three of us stayed behind and decided we needed to make some money. Like we having these masterminds, we need to make some money. And we came up with this idea to write this book called The Cookbook to Romance. And when The Cookbook to Romance was born, that started my journey into writing books. So after writing the first book, which was The Cookbook to Romance, now back then we didn't know how to get on Amazon. So everything was a book signing. We did a ton of book signings. I actually remember we did our book signing on Martha Vineyards. And I'm never going to forget that day. We went to Martha Vineyard to do a book signing. We stayed at the Twin Oaks Bed and Breakfast, which was the only African-American owned bed and breakfast on Martha's Vineyard at the time. And the woman who ran the bread and breakfast, her name was Doris. I can't remember her last name, but her name was Doris. I remember we got there on a Friday night. Our book signing was that Saturday. When we woke up that Saturday morning, everybody was kind of sitting around downstairs around the TV just looking really sad. And we were like, what the heck is going on here? Come to find out, JF Kennedy Jr. and his wife Caroline their plane had crashed about 2 miles from where we were staying. So of course, I want to go see what's happening. So we get in the car, me and my friends who had co-authored the book with us. We try to drive down to the site where the plane crashed, but we couldn't get past because they had it blocked off. That whole island, because Martha Vineyard is an island, the whole island was very sad. So that was one of the bittersweet book signings that I could remember. But back then, that's what we did. We did book signings. So we did our book signings that evening. But that was one of the times in history for me. I was there. I was right down where it happened at, and we could literally drive down to where the plane went down. So for the rest of the day, it was pretty quiet on the island, but we did do the book signing. So I don't even know if people still do book signings, y'all, because everything is digital. Everything is digital. I still like books. Like I still buy paper books. I do not like reading digital books. I just don't. I have a ton of brand new paper books that I have to read. I just bought one last week. I still buy books, like physical books. But anyway, if you're thinking about writing a book, get my book on self-publishing at Amazon under Audrey Bell Kearney. I got a bunch of books over there. Just pick the one you want. I got one about how we started the doll company. That's there. For those of you who don't know, I invented the first plus size fashion doll with my good friend Georgette, and I wrote a book about it. Like I write a book about anything that I've learned and I want to share. I will write a book about it. I don't know what happened to Robert. I hope everything is good on his end. Hopefully we can get him back at another time. But listen, that's all I got because I wasn't prepared to talk about my self-publishing journey. I was prepared to talk to him about what he does to write books in 12 hours. So hopefully, we can get him on at another time. Listen, thank you again for listening. I'll be back again once more with another guest to talk about some great things. Just make sure to listen to Good Morning Gwinnett Spotlight Thursdays. I do this when I have a guest on Thursday. So if you know you want to be a guest on the show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com, click on Step into the Spotlight, and you can be my guest on the Spotlight. Okay, so that's all I got for you today. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know it's Thursday, but it's my weekend. My weekend starts today. I take Fridays off, so my weekend starts today. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. I will see you again when I got another guest on the spotlight on Good Morning Gwinnett. Until next time, my friends, until next time, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.